Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this series we are going to learn all about Keycloak. I will be covering things like managing reams, handling client, setting up roles and permissions, organizing groups, and diving into some more advanced topic like service provider interface, what we call as SPI.
Now let me give you some introduction about Keycloak, what Keycloak is about. Keycloak is an open source identity and access management tool. Being an identity and access management tool, it streamlines the authentication process for application and IT services. The purpose of IAM tool is to ensure that right people in a company have appropriate access to resources. It usually enables the implementation of single sign-on, identity federation, and strong authentication. Now let's start with the Keycloak installation. So this is the Keycloak site, and there are various options to install Keycloak, and we will be doing the Docker. We will be choosing the Docker way, and let's click on Get Started. Here we can see we can install in the bare metal. We can use Docker, Podman, Kubernetes, OpenShift. There are various options we can install Keycloak. So I'm going to do with the Docker. So it is pretty simple. We need to do this Docker run command. User ID will be admin, the password will be admin, and this is the image, and this is the start dev is the command to start Keycloak, and version is 24. This is the latest version. So let's copy this, and we have to make sure the Docker desktop is up and running. It will take up some time. So unable to find the repository, and it is trying to pull. It will take up some time, and by the time I will skip this video. Yes, now we can see that Keycloak is up and running. We can see this logs, it is up and running. It took some time, and now let's try to access the Keycloak. It will be available on HTTP 8080. Here we go. This is the home page, login page, admin. Yes, now we can see that Keycloak master ream, and the Keycloak is up and running. Now let's see some few options here, and then I will try to explain how to create reams, then clients, and then we'll further see roles and permissions. So this is the master ream. So this is the very basic ream which Keycloak automatically creates, and here we can see the ream setting. There user manage access is off, unlimited attribute is disabled. We can see some few options here. I'm not going to go with every option, so let's go through one by one maybe quickly. This is the login thing. Okay, and we will get options for each reams also, and for the master, so this is the default ream: email, themes, keys, events, localization, and many other things are there. Okay, and these are the clients which on the master ream which Keycloak creates. Okay, we don't need to do anything on the master ream. These are some client scope which again on the master ream which we don't need to touch anything. User we can see the admin user is created, so we can create as many users we can want, and suppose we want to give access to some our colleagues, and we can create a user from here, and with their own user they will be able to log in. Okay, these are groups. I will be explaining the groups in the next upcoming sessions. Okay, and we can see the sessions here. Admin, we can see from the admin we logged in, and this is the session which it creates. Okay, And these are ream settings which I have on. Authentication these are some authentication flows which Keycloak creates. Like I will be also explaining few of these in the upcoming sessions. Identity provider are the things like suppose we want to log in with the Facebook, GitHub, or Google or something like that. We can do that. Okay. User federation is about like suppose we want to keep our user data in some other database, and with that database we want to access our user, and in that way we have to create some we call it as SPs in the Keycloak. We have to create some common custom code, and with that custom code we can pull the user from the database, and finally that users will display here. The users are actually not stored in the Keycloak in that way. So that also we will cover it. And now let's try to create a new client. Sorry, I mean let's try to create a ream. Creating ream is the first step. So click here, create ream, and we can also create ream from a JSON file, which I will be explaining. Let's try to create a ream like customer. Let's create it as a customer. Yes, we can see now ream is created. Here we can see two options: master and custom. Let's see some basic settings. This is the ream ID is customer. Display name we can keep it as same. Like doesn't matter. Okay. And these are some endpoint configurations which show you. If we go to login and save it, if we go to login, we can see user registration is off. Okay, with this stream, if we make it enable, like in that way, it will generate one registration URL also. I can show you this URL series. We'll enable it. Forward password also enable it. Remember, we also have an email as a username. Login with user. Let's do it. Verify email also. Let's enable it. Edit username. This let's do it. And these are some various options which we can play. Email is like here we can create a template. SMTP host we can enable it if you want to send an email. Themes are login themes. If we have an option to make some custom themes, so in that way we can select some themes here. So here we can select by default it will take a base key. We don't need to do anything here. Like or if we make a custom theme, then here automatically that theme name will come, and in that way you can select the theme. Keys are this automatically Keycloak creates. We don't need to do anything. Events are like some events like login event, or some events we can configure here. And again I'm saying we have, suppose somebody did a login, and we have an option to generate one some events. So in that way we have to create some custom code. We call it as again SPs, and we have to as a jar we have to deploy the Keycloak, and that way we can create some listeners. As of now it is a JBoss login, so let's not do anything. Localization, let's not do anything there. Security defenses, not so important as of now. Sessions, SSO idle session. Okay, now these things are a little bit important here. Like for this SSO to work in this stream, what is the idle session timeout here? We can define it 10 minutes or something like that, whatever we want. Client session settings. Okay, so this also we can specify in minutes, because in this stream we will be creating some clients, and for that clients what is the idle session time, so we can specify in minutes. Offline session again it is 30 minutes. Login setting 30 minutes. Okay, so these are some few session related settings which we can tune it so that whenever we try to get access token or session, how much the session will be valid. Let's come to the token. So this is the token algorithm. Okay, and this is again a lifespan which I told of a token. Refresh token, revoke refresh token. This is also a setting which we are not going to do as of now. Access token is valid for 5 minutes. So any client which we create under this name, the access token lifetime will be 5 minutes. So we can increase it to 10 minutes. Also, we want access token lifespan for implicit flow. So there are few flows we'll see when we try to create a client, and what is implicit flow, standard flow, and all these things we will see in the upcoming sessions. Action token is another thing which comes into picture when we have to create some like a passwordless solutions or like that also I will cover in upcoming series. So nothing much to say here. Let's save it. Client pool again, nothing. So for that user profile, it's okay. And authentication. Now the customer is created here. Authentication here, I would like to explain a little bit about this. Yeah, hello. Before looking into the authentication flow, let's go back to customer once again. I want to show one thing here. Open ID endpoint configuration. So here we can see it has it will give you all the options like authorization endpoint, which is the authorization endpoint, token endpoint, okay, to get a token, introspect endpoint, user info endpoint, every information it will give here. Okay, what is the grant type supported, response type supported, and all this, all information we can get it here. Okay, and let's go back to the authorization code, authorization authentication, sorry. These are the flow, built-in flow, which Keycloak creates, and this is the browser flow. Like suppose if we have a web application which we want to connect with Keycloak and provide a username, password kind of a thing, and in this way browser flow will be used. But we can also means like edit this flow or make a new flow, and we can do some things. Okay, let's see if we click here, like this is a cookie purpose, this is disable identity provider redirection, like with this it will redirect to Keycloak login and password form. So username, password, and OTP. Username, password form, and OTP, this is conditional. Okay, this will not be used. Okay, and in this way we'll be able to log in. So here we can see some other flows are client authentication flow, also client ID and secret. Okay, and few, let me show you few others like registration URL. This is important, like registration form, user profile creation, password validation, reCAPTCHA, terms and conditions, and all. Here we can configure it. We can add flow, and in this way we can do it. Means like best way is to like duplicate it and create your own flow also. I will also tell you how to associate a new flow with the client. Okay, and now it's all about reams. So reams, I think I have covered everything, and we can create as many reams as we can, and we can say it is like a tenant thing or something else, whatever in the way you want to treat it. And in the ream setting, I will show you here we can export also. Means like it will be exported. I while creating a ream, I showed like we have option to create a client ream from a JSON file also. So with this, like if we do a partial export, like it will create a JSON file and it will save it. And on the next time, if we try to create a ream, and we can select this and we can do this from here. And now let's see how to create a client. Yes, to create a client, first we need to select the proper ream. The ream where we want to create a client. So your customer is already selected. We click on client. Here we can see by default some reams are already available. So we don't need to do anything with this. Click on create client. Client type is OI OpenID Connect. We don't need to do anything here. Let's create a client like ms dot department. Okay, client ID is this one. Okay. Or we can give like something like this, ms-department. Name we can keep it same. Only just we don't need to do anything. Click on next. Here's some important part I would like to say. The first one is client authentication. Okay, what is client authentication? If you click here, it defines the type of a client. When it is on, the OIDC is set to confidential access type, and when it is off, it is set to public access type. So now, what does it mean? Uh, when it is off, like it is, we specifically used for if we have a client-side application, like browser-based application, like or we can say some single-page application like Angular or React. In this way, we have to client authentication. We have to make it off. Why? Because the client side application, they perform the browser based login, and it is also not possible to ensure that a secret can be kept safe with the client side clients, and it is important to restrict access by configuring the correct redirect URL. Okay. And how, when we will make it on, means like when the client authentication should be confidential, and it is when we have a server side client that perform browser based login and require client secret when making an access token request. This setting should be used for server side applications. Okay, and let's keep it on. And now, what is authorization? What is authorization? If you click here, it enable fine grain authorization support for client. Okay, so what actually is this? And it's like based on this, it is quite clear. Okay, and let's go to the next option. So next option is like standard flow. So what actually is a standard flow? If you click here, it enables like authorization code flow. As per the OIDC protocol, we have some few four flows are there. So it supports authorization code flow. It's like and it is as per the OIDC standard, and it is recommended protocol to use for authenticating and authorizing browser-based application. Okay, and we can enable disable as per our need. Now, what is direct access grant? So direct access grant should be used. So this is basically when do we need is when we try to get access token with username and password. Okay, resource owner password. Like I will be explaining the curl command with this. It's like and that way it will be more clear in further series. So as of now, I can say that a direct access grant should be used only when we want to get the access token with username and password. Okay, and now what is implicit flow? Again, we can see here implicit flow as per me, we should not use it. Is again for browser based application, and it is less secure than authorization code flow, and it is not recommended, and it is also going to depreciate in OAuth 2.1. Okay, and so we will not use this service account rule. So service account rules are allowed to authenticate this client with Keycloak and retrieve access token dedicated to in terms of OAuth 2 specification. It is like with a grant type as a client credential. With the client ID and client secret, we will be able to get this access token. So it is for client, like from machine to machine authentication. Like we have suppose a microservice, and we have two microservice, and suppose the first microservice need to access a resource from the second microservice. In that way, the first microservice will first get the access token, and then with that access token, it will call the second microservice, because the client secret uh, will be able to, it is on the server side and it is safe. So that's why the service account rules uh, are used, and it will be more clear when I will explain with a couple of microservice. Okay, and this rest we don't need to do anything. Okay, we click on next, and these are the root URL. We not going to do anything here as of now, because we can specify home URL or something in case of a public client. Okay, so it will not ask. Okay, click on save. So here we can see the client is created. Your valid redirect URI by default it has taken. Okay, and client authentication is on, and we can also change as per our need. Okay, here the login themes. Here we can as per the custom theme, if it is a browser based application or server side application, we can get choose the custom theme from here. We need to develop it, and based on the thing, appropriate login page will be displayed. This is a consent screen, whatever. This is dependent on login setting. Logout setting, here logout setting first we can do, and then we can see the keys are, we don't need to do anything here, and this is the credential, and this credential client secret will be required when we try to get the access token with the client ID and the client secret, and this should be secured in some way. And okay, and here these are some client roles we can create. Client scope we can do, I will be explaining it in upcoming sessions. Service account role, so here default role customer, it has been created. Sessions, here if anybody tries to log in with using this client, we will be able to see the sessions. Advanced, okay, here I will not go every detail, and here the access token lifespan 10 minutes, it is uh, integrated, it is overridden from Ream, and here the flows also we can select. So by default is a browser flow, authentication flow override, and if you override any flow, we will be able to select it, and you can see the login page as per the authentication flow. Okay, and for this series I'm going to stop here, and on the next series I will be explaining more on the client, on rules and permissions. Okay, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for my next video on rules and permissions. Thank you for watching.